Hey guys, Jesse here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the HG Zeydra from Gundam Age. And this kit was actually given to me by the Gunpla Collective, which I'm pretty sure is no more. The website is gone, the Instagram hasn't posted I think since like September, and the YouTube hasn't had videos in forever. Then again, if I can come back after a year, then surely they can come back, right? But I don't know, I wouldn't hold your breath, but who knows? Again, they might come back. Anyways, a while ago they sent me a list of some HGs to pick from to build and review, and I picked the Zeydra, and I just now got around to building it, and here's the review. But I picked the Zeydra because I heard that the HG line of Gundam Age kits, especially the enemy kits, were pretty disappointing, and I know it sounds weird to voluntarily want to experience disappointment, but my curiosity just got the better of me, and here it is. And I do like the design. I think the Zeydra is a very cool looking suit. So let's go ahead and get it spinning here, and we'll talk more about it. Now, I've never watched Gundam Age, and I don't plan to, so please don't tell me to watch in the comments below, but I might watch it one day. But I've heard that A, it's not very good, and B, it's pretty kiddish. It's really meant to appeal to, or it was meant to appeal to kids, and have them buy all the kits and toys and stuff. But again, I do really like the designs from the show. The enemy designs are just absolutely strange. They don't look like anything from Gundam, especially the Zeydra. This looks like it belongs in Code Geass or some sort of super robot like Power Rangers villain episode. These kind of insane, crazy McDonald colors are just weird. I do like the colors though. I think in the final kit, all the colors come together very nicely, and I don't really like the design as much as I did before, especially after building it. The proportions are a little bit strange. I think the shoulders should be a little bit bigger, and the wings are kind of thin and puny, but otherwise, it's an okay kit. It's just really okay. I think the hardest part of the build was trying to stay awake while building it because it's just so boring. If I didn't panel line this and top coat it, then this kit would have taken me a grand total of 2 hours to build. There's a lot of seam lines though, so if you want to practice filling seam lines and fixing seam lines, this is a pretty good kit to do so. They're very easy to fix and in really easy spots. And as you can tell, there's not a lot of detail on this kit. There's barely any panel lines. The skirt armor especially just doesn't have any. So if you want to practice scribing on something that's very different, very round, it's a good challenge. So, and it's always good to challenge yourself if you're trying to improve any skill. So yeah, and the accessories that come with this kit, I can see why people were disappointed with this kit, or with this line of Gundam Age kits, especially on the villain side, because man, it's a little bit pitiful in terms of the accessories side. But anyways, this will be a pretty short review. Let's go ahead and get in closer and talk about it. So here we are, closer with the Zeydra. Again, very weird design, very organic design, very alien design. I really like it. I don't really like it in a Gundam show, which is probably why I'll never watch Age, but it is very, very sleek. I think one of my favorite aspects is this sort of like flower petal design to all the sort of wings and shoulders and skirt armor and ankle armor. I think it's just a cool motif, especially with the layering of pieces of the armor. One extra thing I did do to this kit is all these little pointy bits like the antenna, the ears, the wings, let me think, the tail and the ankle armor. I did sharpen them. They come really, really dull, but I just took a file and sharpened them to make it look a little more angular because the whole thing is pretty organic and supposed to look pretty mean. And I did a little bit of research on the mobile suit itself. It has some pretty cool aspects to it, especially in terms of its weapons. But I think one of the cool things is that the cockpit is actually in the head, which is pretty unusual for Gundam. But yeah, in terms of articulation, this head doesn't really move very much. It's on that regular polycap joint. I like that they sort of hit it with this big gray collar, but otherwise, yeah, it doesn't move very much. Also, just reminded me, the color separation in this kit is excellent. All the orange you're seeing are separate pieces, and all the color apps that are supposed to be there are actually there. The only stickers that they needed to complete the look are these two black ones, and they're really not that bad. So yeah, pretty good on that front. Otherwise, all the colors are here, even on the bottom of the feet, where they could have just made this whole foot red. They decided to include this yellow part that feeds through and makes this yellow vent on the back. So very cool. I also like the vents on this kit. It really reminds me of Turn A or something. I could do without this like poop vent coming out the butt here, but it is what it is, I guess. Another thing about the build, these two clear green jewels up here, they don't really snap in. They're just sort of held by friction, and for the life of me, I could not get this one to stay in. Every time I put it in, it would just fall out, and I'm afraid this one's going to do the same thing. So I had to glue that one in, and I will most likely have to glue that one in. So behind the clear green parts are some chrome silver stickers, and they work out just fine. They look really nice. And there is an eye sticker, but I didn't use it. I actually used some metallic green and painted that in, but I don't think you could see that green sticker in there at all. The slit is just so tiny. And under the right light, you can see it, but otherwise, I think it's just sort of lost in there. Coming through with other parts of the articulation, the wings are really disappointing, actually. They can swing in and out and pivot this way, but they can't pivot this way, so you're kind of stuck at this angle only. You can't change the angle of the wings that way, which isn't great. It just kind of limits the dynamics of the kit. The shoulder armor is actually pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's this old high-grade style where the ball joint is attached to the shoulder armor and not to the arm. But the way it's molded, the shoulder armor will always be at an angled V. It will always be angled upwards, which I think is good, because when you're trying to pose a kit, you always want the shoulder armor to be at sort of this V angle. It just looks better. It doesn't look like the armor sort of drooping. So, but otherwise, this arm really sucks. The articulation on this kit is not great. It's for its simplicity, for whatever reason, the mobility on it is just really bad. The arm can only go up that high. You know, unless you want to spin it around, it's only going to get up that high, which is just bad. The elbow looks like it's a double joint, and it is a double joint, but it can only get 90, which is just awful. And it's because of this upper bicep armor blocking that joint. It just can't tuck under there quite enough. You got a couple of seam lines here, by the way. You've got one going across the shoulder, one coming down the back and front of the bicep, and one coming down the forearm, front and back, all the way down this part of the arm. So not hard seam lines to fix, but definitely telling of the times, I should say. The torso is okay. It's got a little bit of an ab crunch. The bottom is on a ball joint, but you can get okay movement out of it. It's not fantastic. The skirt armor, again, I really like this sort of layered pedal design, but it can come up kind of like this, and it's on a ball joint back here, but it just seems so limited for some reason. I just can't get it to move the way I want it to. And I think it's because you've got to like always have it layered, and if you get it tucked under this back skirt armor, it's just sort of always in the way. So it's a bit of a hassle to deal with. But it doesn't really matter because the legs are, again, just on ball joints. So you're only ever getting that far out. Underneath, you've got this little piece that'll pop out for the action base connector. It's always nice to have a piece there to complete the look than just a huge hole. The knees, however, are really nice. You've got a full 180, and I like that the knee armor is actually attached to the joint, so you kind of have this illusion of a sliding armor gimmick. So that just looks really nice. It looks complete. And then the ankles, it looks like there should be some sort of toe joint, but it is just one big piece, and it has an ankle rocker, and it's just on a ball joint, so the ankle armor is just there floating. So that's it for the articulation. Yeah, worst part of the arms and everything else is just okay. Oh, also you've got the tail, which can swing this way and come off like that. It's pretty loose. It's loose for a reason because it's an accessory, but it can come in and out like that, so not too bad. Let's go ahead and put it down for a second and talk about the accessories. Now, you already saw one there at the very end, which is the tail. I'll go ahead and take it off again. But yeah, this is supposed to be the Zeydra sword. It's not a beam sword or anything like that. It's just a physical sword. So it's kind of strange. I know all the enemies from Age have this weapon essentially. I did sharpen this as well. And it will just plug into one of the open hands via that hole, which, let's go ahead and show you one of those. This is one of the open hands. Pretty nice. The cool thing about the hands on this kit are the fact that they're all completely symmetrical, including the fists and the open hands here. So if you like lose an open hand, you can just take the other one and put it in its place. And then you just plug this right onto there, and it's really loose, so it's kind of hard to bend that little barrel piece down. And you just kind of have it holding the Zeydra sword like this. And that looks weird and awkward, but that's how it holds in the show and everything, so it should be okay. The little barrel is a separate piece, so that's pretty cool. And that's nice. And again, you get two of them, so you get two of these open hands. You get two fists on the kit already. And then finally, you get the beam rifle. I find it kind of funny that this beam rifle is very different than the kit. It's kind of blocky and it's got a lot of panel lines, so it's far more detailed than the kit itself. It kind of clashes a bit, but you've got two green foil stickers in there for the barrel and for the camera, and you've got one holding hand. Because the hand is symmetrical, you can just flip it around and then it can hold in its left hand if you want. But otherwise, that's it. There's nowhere to store this, so he either has it or he doesn't. And that's it for the accessories, which is awful. That's really pitiful, because when if I didn't know anything about this kit, I would have been like, oh, that kind of sucks, and that's okay. But after looking into it, these hands double as beam sabers and Vulcan machine guns, and they don't give any beam saber effect parts. And this gun also doubles as a beam saber. There's supposed to be a beam effect coming out of the barrel here, kind of like the Zeydra Gundam, where its beam rifle was also a beam saber. So yeah, that's all we got in terms of accessories, and that just sucks. So I can see why people were disappointed with this line of HGs. Not only did they not come with a lot of accessories, but the kit itself is pretty subpar. It's not the worst thing in the world. If you like the design, then I would say go for it. They're unbelievably cheap. But yeah, if you're looking for sort of an impressive HG or something to really, or something even just fun to build, I wouldn't come to this kit at least. So I guess that's it. That's sort of my final thoughts. It's okay. It's not great. There are definitely better HGs to pick from. But if you like the design, it's not bad. So that's it for me. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.